I'm Caleb Brooks with the AHSAA Radio Network. I'm at Auburn High School, joined by the head football coach, Coach Adam Winegarden. And Coach, for you started your head coaching career in Georgia, and then you come over here, you make the move from Georgia all the way over to Tuscaloosa, you go to Hillcrest, then you go down, you go to Fairhope High School, and then really unique situation where you and Coach Carter just swap positions. You come up here, he goes down there.
Yeah.
But to start in Georgia, when you came over in Alabama and you got to Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, what was the differences in Georgia high school football and Alabama high school football?
Well, I think the style of plays were probably a little bit different from the area I was in. I think when I got to Alabama, it was spread oriented. At the time when I came from Georgia, it was still more traditional football with I formation, teams running wing T. There were some spread teams. The Tony Franklin system was really going strong then. I think wearing a visor as a coach became really popular, and there were some teams doing that, but it was still more traditional football. And when I came to Alabama, it seemed like everybody was in the spread, so it became very much matchup oriented and that type thing. And when I went to Hillcrest, we kind of brought an I formation mentality there, which nobody in our league ran that, which is not a unusual offense, but at that time we were a few teams that did it, and in our league anyhow. So that was probably one of the biggest differences was this style of play.
When you came over here and you went to Hillcrest, you had great success there for a couple of years. You go down to Fairhope, you have great success down there, and then you've come here and now back-to-back 10-win seasons here. What is it that helps you go to these places and really nothing stops, you just keep rolling?
Yeah, well, I think it's just the good Lord. Jesus has been so good to me and just blessed me throughout my career with really good players and great coaches, and be in good situations that has variables to be successful, first of all. And then, throughout your time, I think you live and learn through things, and we haven't always had success. We've had negative times and things that haven't gone our way, but I think you learn from those and grow from those. But I think the biggest thing for us is our goal has never been to win. Our goal has always been to develop young men, and we talk about being a champion for life, better prepared for the real world by playing football, and that's just not a talk. That's not just a statement we make and say. That's something we really, really mean, and we try to take as many things we can in football and then relate it to real life and what they're going to do when they leave here. And like a good friend of mine said, he says that playing football or playing high school athletics is just practicing life before you live it. And so our thing is that let's keep the main thing the main thing. And I think if we're always doing that, then we'll have a chance to be successful. And I always kind of have thought about Coach Chappell, Bill Chappell, who's in the Georgia High School Hall of Fame. When he still lived in Dalton. He won over 300 games, and I never forget. He would always tell us this. He would say, "Guys, every year he goes, if you'll be disciplined, organized, and just work hard, you'll be just fine." And so I've always thought about that simply. Like, let's work to be a disciplined program. Let's be organized every day, and say, hey, everybody just work hard. And if we do that, hey, we'll be fine. But like I've said, our thing is never really been about that. And I think that if we're doing everything we can to help these young men, we could put our heads on our pillows and sleep, whether we're successful or not.
So for last year's team, you guys accomplished a lot. 10-2 record, and your 2 losses was a really good Phoenix City team that you had a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter, gave yourselves a chance to win, and then a Robert Lee team got hot at the right time, and you'd already beaten them. People talk about it all the time. It's hard to beat teams twice in a year. But how'd you feel about what you guys accomplished last year and what you guys were able to do?
Well, we were really proud of last year's team. I think that the big thing for our team, our program, that we would all say is that we just didn't feel like we played our best football in that last game. And it's not that we didn't win the game. We could have played our best football and still not have won. But I think if we would have played like we felt like we could have played, I think we would have been more peace about how the season ended. But those things happen. And like I said, there are 2 parts of the season that are of success. There's what everybody sees and there's what nobody sees. And there's the win-loss record, and then there's the relationships that everybody builds throughout the journey. And the part that nobody sees is what lasts for 20 years. In 20 years, nobody's going to remember what the last game, but we remember it short term. So we want the kids to have both ends of that, and we think that's very, very key.
Yeah, and I can relate to that as a guy that played. I mean, I think about it all the time. I tell guys all the time, you're going to miss the locker room. You're going to miss the moments where you're not playing football more than you're really going to miss being out there playing football, because you just build that team bonding, you know. And I can tell that talking to you guys, talking to Amari, talking to Aaron, they talk about having a plan after football. And they said that you guys kind of preach that, having a plan, because football's not always going to be there. I can tell you that. You know, I played it and loved playing, but it's not always going to be there. You can probably tell people that. So I mean, you know, it really seems like y'all preach that message. You know, why do you feel like that message is important to get across to all your guys?
Well, we talk to the kids a lot about how every window of life leads you to the next one. And so, you know, and we talk about with our team, you know, if you maximizing your relationships in the now maximizes your future. So, you know, if they do a really good job of selling out to each other and the team and learn the values of sport and team play, and that's going to help them in what do they do next, whether it's military, whether it's going to college, whether, you know, it's going to the workforce. You know, they'll take those skills and transfer that. If they come to practice every day and don't really buy into it, then they're not going to take that team mentality to the next thing they do, or those leadership skills. And so, like, let's say they leave here and they go to college and they take those skills and apply it. Well, they're maximizing that window of time too, and that just leads to the next one and the next one and the next one. You know, it's going to come to you, and then one day you're going to be a father, and that's a new window of life for you, and all that kind of stuff. And so we really preach that just maximizing each window of life, and that, you know, those windows close, and but another one opens up. You know, so but if you don't take care of this one, the view from the next one won't be as good.
You know, entering year 5 for you now here at Auburn, it's the longest that you've been at a place here in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
What is it about Auburn that you enjoy and that makes you want to be here at this high school?
Yeah, we have a great school system. You know, our system really seeks excellence in everything we do. You know, you come to here and there's an event going on all the time, and we're very successful and seek a high level of excellence in everything we do. So it's a great school system. You know, we have great kids to coach. As a football coach, you know, that we have a lot of resources here to do a lot of good things for your players, and a lot of people feel like you need resources to be successful or to be a great program or whatever. And I think resources are important, but for us, if the more resources we have, the more we can help them in character development, academic development, you know, help train them. You know, the better we can develop them holistically. So I think, you know, having those things are very beneficial. I don't think it's the end all. A good friend of mine said that hey, you can take boys into a field somewhere and turn them into men, so you don't have to have a lot of things. But here we have great tools to do those things, which is very helpful. But we have a great community and great players and you know, great fan base, and you know, it's been really good to all of us.
You know, my mom's principal in this system, and she's told me about the little spirit pack that you do, where you go to all the different elementary schools and you have, you know, nights for those schools. Why is it important to you to get all the elementary school kids involved and get the community involved with this program in that way?
Well, you know, everything we do in our program is to help the players have a great experience. And so if you think about it, everybody that touches your program has a chance to make it better. So if you looked at, you know, the elementary school level, well, those are the kids that are looking up to the players. You know, those are the kids that are going to be the big fan base is going to bring a lot of excitement to the game, and those are going to be looking up to them to be your future too. So first of all, we want everybody in our system to feel like they're a part of our program. You know, we don't want to just be a team. We want to be something that touches every part of our community. And if you think about what makes high school football fun, it is the community. It's the pride in the community. It's everybody coming out to the game. It's everybody excited about the game, looking forward to Friday. You know, and the more people that are connected, you know, really the more people the players are playing for. You know, if you look at teams that typically, you know, don't play well late in games, and so to speak, that people say that they quit in the tough moments. A lot of times they don't have great school spirit either. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of that push from outside, you know. But when you have a lot of school spirit and a lot of community rally and pride, that gives you a lot of energy to play for something. And it's just it's a common thread that you do more for things outside of yourself than you'll do for yourself. You know, so we want to get as many people connected as possible to enjoy it. And so it's, you know, we, like your mom said, you know, we connect with every school here in the system, and we have 2 different programs we run: it's elementary school nights and then Future Tigers. And but it's been a really cool thing. It's really connected everybody.
You know, like we mentioned earlier, your first stint here was in Tuscaloosa, at Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. Then now you're here. So you've been in the two biggest college towns in this whole entire state. Was your experience at Hillcrest helpful for your experience being here now in another college town?
It's a little different just because in Tuscaloosa there's a lot more high schools, you know, so you know, you here everything feeds off of the community and the university and in that type thing, so we're very connected with that. You know, in Tuscaloosa it was more spread out, so you had a lot of high schools there, so even though the university was there, you know, you were still felt more separated within a different school system, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that part of it was a little bit different. You know, I think here is definitely more community oriented.
So focusing on this year's team, you know, you got the defending state champs in your region, and you know you get to have them at home this year, and then you start off the year with Wilcox. You get Opelika, huge rivalry game for you guys, and you know you look at last year, you guys were able to run through the schedule fairly easily. Besides the Phoenix City game, and like we mentioned, you had a chance to win that game in the fourth quarter. So going into this year, what is your message to the team? You have back-to-back 10-win seasons. You've had success now the last couple of years. So what's the message now as you do try to chase Phoenix City and get what they have right now?
Right. It's the same as it's been every year. It's not going to change. I mean, our thing is every year is a different year. So this year's team has nothing to do with any team in the past. And we truly mean it. I mean, our mission here is for the kids to leave better prepared for the real world and to have a great experience. And with that, you know, you have challenges and goals that you hope will help guide them and develop them. But, you know, our thing is at the end of the year, do we maximize our ability level? And then our players have great relationships and they leave better prepared. You know, if we feel like we can answer those things, then I think we've had a successful year. And that could mean that we win the state championship. It could mean that we don't. It could mean whatever, you know. So our thing has never been about that. I think we all understand from a realistic standpoint that, hey, look, you know, to win the region, we got to beat this team. To get here, we got to do this. But that just can't be our mindset. You know, our thing is about developing each week and you know, getting better and you know, like I said before, you know, developing our kids holistically. And however we roll the dice, however it plays out, it's how it's going to play out. But I think when you have that mindset, I think it allows you to be at your best in those moments. And when those moments come, you know what's at stake. But you know, we don't ever go in the year with a focus on things outside of us. It always has to be internal.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. Thank you for letting me come here and talk to your guys, talk to you. Good luck. You know, I know you're excited. I know your players are excited kicking off next week, and you know, we look forward to seeing what you guys are able to accomplish.
Thank you guys very much.